Hey, what's up, guys? It's sports time, and today I'm going to take a look at the NHL East Division. In my opinion, the NHL East Division is the best division out of the four. They got a lot of great teams in this division. I think this division is stacked. This division will be competitive, and it'll just be a dogfight to make it into the playoffs in this division. So let's get started at number 8 with the New Jersey Devils. The New Jersey Devils, they're clearly a team in a rebuilding phase. But they got some great young players, though, that I can grow this season in guys like Pavel Zacha, Jack Hughes, Nico Hischier, Mackenzie Blackwood. So I think they'll get some playoff-like experience this season because of the amount of times you play the exact same teams. So I think this will be a great season for them to get some experience and grow. Obviously, losing Taylor Hall in a trade last season is a huge loss to a team that's already bereft of top offensive weapons. And they're stuck in a very, very tough division, and it's really hard to see the New Jersey Devils placing anywhere other than 8th place in the division. At number 7, I have the Buffalo Sabres. The Buffalo Sabres, in my opinion, look really good on paper. They've got Taylor Hall now, which is big. They've got Eric Stahl. They've got Jeff Skinner. They've got Reinhardt. They've got Dahlin. They've got Ristolainen. So some really great pieces in Buffalo. But they've been bad for a really long time and missed the playoffs for a while. I was actually high on the Sabres not too long ago when they acquired Dan Bilesma as their coach and when they acquired Jeff Skinner. But they missed the playoffs and I was disappointed. I think the Buffalo Sabres, they just need to prove that they're good by going out on the ice and showing it. I think they're good on paper, obviously, but they just need to show it. And I can't really put them ahead of any other team in this division because of the fact that they failed for so many years. At number 6, I have the New York Rangers. This is definitely a team that's on the come up. They've got some great young pieces in Lafreniere and Fox and Shesterkin and Kakko. And they have a nice complement of veteran players on the roster, too, and guys like Kreider and Strome. And the New York Rangers have one of the best elite wingers in the game today in Artemi Panarin. He's a dynamic player. He can make things happen, which will be really good for the New York Rangers. If you remember, not too long ago, the New York Rangers actually declared a rebuild. And if you fast forward to this season, they've obviously done a really nice job. They've definitely retooled the team very quickly through drafting and free agency. And they definitely have the talent to potentially actually make it into the playoffs this season. But I think the teams ahead of them are just slightly better than them. And for that reason, I think the New York Rangers will finish at number 6. At number 5, I have the Philadelphia Flyers. Obviously, they had a great regular season last year. But my problem with the Flyers is that they're actually a kind of inconsistent team. If you take a look at the past few years, the Philadelphia Flyers missed the playoffs, then made the playoffs. Then missed the playoffs, then made the playoffs. So they're a really up and down team. I don't really know what to make of them. If you look at Claude Giroux, too, 3 years ago he had 102 points. 2 years ago he had 80-something points. Then last year it went down even more. And I think Philadelphia is just kind of inconsistent, but they still have some great talent on the team. Like, obviously Claude Giroux, Sean Couturier, who won the Selke last year, Jacob Voracek, Ivan Provorov, Shane Gothenspiel. Those are some great pieces. And they have an up-and-coming elite goaltender in Carter Hart. So, Philly, I'm kind of on the fence about. I think they'll finish number 5, though. At number 4, I have the Pittsburgh Penguins. I think you can easily interchange Pittsburgh and Philly at this point. But I have the Pittsburgh Penguins ahead of them because they have some great top-notch offensive talents in Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, Jake Gensel. They have got Chris Letang on the blue line still. So I think Pittsburgh still has some great pieces, but they are on a downwards trend in my opinion. They got swept by the Islanders a couple years ago, and then they surprisingly lost to the Canadiens in the qualifying round. So the Pittsburgh Penguins, they look like a team that's getting older, obviously. They look like a team that is trending in the wrong direction. And they also underwent major changes in the offseason, so I think it will take time to incorporate those new pieces into the team. Pittsburgh, they could miss the playoffs, they could make it, but ultimately, I think they will squeeze in because of their championship experience and the leadership of Sidney Crosby. At number 3, I have the New York Islanders. If you guys remember, they looked like they were goners after John Tavares left in free agency, but they responded really well. They made the playoffs each year after Tavares left. A second round loss a couple seasons ago, and then they lost in the conference finals last season. But they beat some great teams along the way, in teams like, Washington, who's a really great team, Philadelphia, who's in this division, Florida, who looks like they have some great pieces, and they took the Stanley Cup champion Lightning to 6 games. So the Islanders, they're definitely a really strong team. They've got a rising star in Matthew Barzal, which is good. My question about them is through the goaltending. They don't really have elite goaltending right now, so we'll see how that plays out in a division with clearly a lot of offensive talent. They've got some really strong coaching in Barry Trotz, which is good, and I think the Islanders will cement their spot, though, as an elite team this season. Hence why I have them at number 3. At number 2, I have the Washington Capitals. The Washington Capitals, they're on a similar type trend to the Pittsburgh Penguins because of their back-to-back first-round exits to Carolina a couple years ago, and then the Islanders just this past season. But I have them at number 2 because Washington is a team that normally has very good regular seasons. If you take a look at the past few seasons, they've always finished near the top or at first in their division. So they're a team that normally does really good in the regular season. And they still have some great elite players on their team, and obviously in guys like Ovechkin and Backstrom and Kuznetsov and Carlson. My huge question, though, with the Washington Capitals is how will they do in the net? Samsonov, he looked great last season in the games he did play in. And my question is also, who will be Samsonov's backup? Because in this new type season in the NHL, there's going to be a lot of back-to-backs, and I think the backup goaltending position will be super valuable. So that's my question with the Capitals. At number 1, I have the Boston Bruins. They're still a really great team. They've been an elite team the last few years, and I expect them to continue to be an elite team this season. But they did lose Torrey Krug, who was a very important piece on the power play. He moved the puck up, and he controlled the power play and really allowed that power play to be really good and function really well. So we'll see how Boston can respond to the loss of Torrey Krug. And Zdeno Chara's his future is up in the air as well. But they still have an elite goaltender in Tuukka Rask, which I think will really help them. They still have got the best first line in the NHL in Pasternak and Bergeron and Marchand. And they're mostly a really solid team all around. They've got a lot of depth. They've got some great pieces in DeBrusk and Krejci still. So I think Boston will finish atop of the NHL East Division. So this is my standings for the NHL East Division. Comment down below what you guys think, who you would switch, and just where you would rank these 8 teams in a tough NHL East Division. But this is my standings, and I'll see you guys in the next video.